Today I have Brenna, Nui, and Anna, and we work for a company called Conservation Ambassadors. Now, what it is we do at our center is we give a home to rescued wildlife, either to animals that have been injured somehow and can't be set free back out into the wild. Those animals are sent to us at our center. Or other times we have a big problem, especially here in the United States. We have a problem with people trying to make pets out of wild animals. That never ever works. It's also against the law, and those animals are taken away and sent to our center as well. Then what we do is give these animals lots of love, lots of attention, and lots of food. And the animals that we can, we train to travel, going mostly to school groups. Give us a chance to share some amazing wild animals up close and personal. Now, we've actually been partnering with Seaworld for the last 29 years, and we've gotten to witness some of the amazing rescue work that they continue to do. So when they asked us to come bring some of our rescued wildlife for you to meet, we were super excited to do so, and we brought some awesome animals for you guys. But I want to start with the oldest animal at our center. He was out there hustling up a crowd, and we picked him because he is an expert hustler. His name is Flip. Check him out. Come on out here, Flip. This is Flip. I told you he's a hustler. This is Flip, the California desert tortoise. Now, our state reptile, the California desert tortoise, animal that we almost lost. See, we almost tortoises because people would see these guys waddling along the roadways, and they would decide to scoop them up and take them home. They'd let them hang out in the backyard and play with the dogs and the cats and eat all their grasses. But eventually, these people get sick and tired of taking care of them, and then we'll release them back out into the wild. The only problem is those captive tortoises were bringing along with them a respiratory disease that was spreading to the wild population, and our state reptile was in danger of going extinct. It actually took the help of passionate people that go out and basically figured out what was happening. And California Fish and Wildlife granted permits to allow these guys to remain in human care to prevent the spread of disease. Now, Flip here, he happens to be one of those permitted tortoises, only he outlived his previous owner. That is because Flip is now 82 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, he has a terrible retirement plan. But no, this guy here, he's a fascinating animal, and although he might not look like it, he is a highly territorial creature. In the wild, these desert tortoises, the males, they'll claim an area, hopefully that has a food source or maybe even a water source if they're really lucky, and that's their zone. Now the male tortoises, they'll let all the girls in, but every other male, that's their enemy. So if a male comes into their area, they'll run over to him as fast as they can, kind of like a, that's quick, he goes after him. And then they square off of each other. And when he squares off, he'll use this part of his shell. Do you guys see that little spur there? That's called a gular. Can you guys say gular?
Gular.
That's one of my favorite words. He will use that gular of his to try and flip that other tortoise over and protect his territory. He is an absolutely amazing creature though. Like I said, a fascinating animal. That is Flip. Let's say goodbye to the California desert tortoise here. All right, bye, buddy. Now, our next guest. I have to go and get him. Do I have to get him? Because he's heavy, but he's an amazing creature. His name is Spike, and Spike, he's not too big, only about 6.5 feet long. He's not too heavy either. He's only about 110 pounds. And if he gets any bigger, I'm gonna have to start working out. But this is Spike. Check out the North American alligator. That's my favorite joke. No, this is Spike, the North American alligator. Now this guy here, the first question that people always seem to ask me about Spike is to go, Jojo, why doesn't he bite you? And you guys know what the answer to that question is? He only bites Dodger fans. Yeah. I know. He's very smart. This guy here, he's actually been doing educational programs with us for the past 34 years. See, 34 years ago, he was found being kept in a man's bathtub in Los Angeles, And he's taken away and he's been helping us do educational programs ever since. But I'll tell you what, the North American alligator, he is perfectly set up for life in our southern swamps. Everything from his nose being positioned on top of his snout, he can stick just the tip of his nose out of the water and he can breathe. It works like a snorkel. Then he's got these awesome spikes. You guys see those spikes down his back? Yeah, those spikes, those are what's known as an osteoderm. Can you guys say osteoderm? Osteoderm. Now one more time. A third time. Osteoderm. Do you know what I'm doing? I'm catching my breath. But that's awesome. That's an osteoderm. That means it's part bone, part skin. That is his protection from other alligators. But then, he's got this big, long, muscular tail. Now that tail of his is the most well-muscled part of his body. He can pump that tail along and swim faster than a bottlenose dolphin can. Yeah, take that, dolphin point. But this guy here, he can even have upwards of 2,000 pounds per square inch of crushing power in his mouth. One of the strongest set of jaws in the animal kingdom. Whenever he grabs a hold of something, you can bet it's always his. He even has an extra eyelid called a nictitating membrane that is a built-in pair of swimming goggles that he can see perfectly when he's under the water. But you know what? Alligators, these guys are an animal that gives me hope. See, alligators give me hope because we almost lost these big, beautiful creatures. We almost lost the North American alligators because of this side skin. See, so many alligators were overhunted for that skin of theirs to make boots and belts and wallets and purses out of them. So many alligators were killed for that skin that we almost lost the largest reptile that we have here in the United States. But do you guys know what happened? People got involved. They started protecting the alligators. They protected the alligators' habitats. And now the North American alligator has made such a strong comeback that there are over 2 million alligators in Florida alone. Now they have to have a hunting season just to manage the population. But it shows that if we truly care about a species, we can make a big difference out in the wilds. But let's say goodbye to Spike, the North American alligator here. No, that's not how you do it. No, you guys. No, you say see you later. You know what? I did that same joke in the school once. And this little kindergartner came up to us at the end of the program and said, "See you later, alligator," to Spike. So I said, "In a while, crocodile." And this little kindergartner looked me dead in the eye and said, "See you soon, you big baboon." Close to me. Anyways, I think he's a fascinating creature. Let's give him a big round of applause. He did a great job. Awesome. All right, buddy.
See you soon.
Now, I'll tell you what, do you guys want to meet a furry guest? Yeah, I bet you do. Well, her name is Rookie. And Rookie, I'm only going to bring her out here if nobody in this audience goes, "Aww," when you see her. Do you know why? Because I'm sick of it. No, she's an amazing creature, though. From the grasslands of Australia, this is Rookie. We just talked about this. This is Rookie, and she's about an 8-month-old red kangaroo. Now, you guys, you might think she's cute right now, but when this little kangaroo was first born, she looked nothing like a kangaroo. No, she had no arms, she had no eyes, she had little tiny arms and a sense of smell, and she was the size of an insect larva or a worm. She was a tiny little thing. Yet that little thing that can't even see has to climb up its mom's belly to get inside the pouch. Now, mom kangaroos, they'll help out a little bit. They lick a trail of saliva down their belly that baby will use to follow to climb up inside that pouch. And then once inside that pouch, that baby starts to nurse. And its jaws lock shut for 3 months. It might sound horrific to some, but for the kangaroo, that's very important. I mean, mom kangaroo, she's hopping through the grasslands of Australia. That baby's inside the pouch going, dum, bounce along with her. If I was a kangaroo, I'd still have a headache. But at about 3 months old, they look a lot like Rookie here, only about a third of the size. And that's when they'll first poke their head out of the pouch. And when Rookie first poked her head out of her mom's pouch, her mom didn't want to raise her, and she kicked her out. So she's been hand-raised by our staff. She's a fascinating animal, and we love her a lot. But does she belong sitting here in this bag? No, I would so much rather see her out in the grasslands of Australia hopping along with other kangaroos. That is where she truly belongs. Now, a big male kangaroo is called a boomer. A female kangaroo is called a flyer. What's a baby kangaroo called? Yeah, that's why you put her in the Trader Joey bag. But a group of kangaroos is called a mob. And you know, there are lots of red kangaroos right now. Mom kangaroos are like baby kangaroo factories. You know, a mom kangaroo can have one tiny little baby latched on and nursing that hasn't even developed yet. At the same time, they have a 3-month-old that's hopping out of the pouch and hopping back in for safety and still nursing milk. But you know what's crazy? Those two babies, they don't get the same milk. The little tiny baby gets a super fatty rich milk, while the big baby gets chocolate milk. Now the big baby gets kind of like a watered down version, but it's almost like you can open up the pouch and order exactly what your body needs. But the biggest threat to kangaroos right now is definitely wildfires. The wildfires in Australia are prolific right now, and that is the biggest threat they are facing. But hopefully in the coming years we can do everything we can to protect their home. I think she's absolutely amazing. That's little Rookie. Let's say goodbye to the kangaroo here. Bye, little girl. All right. Now, our next guest, I'm gonna need some volunteers for. Now, just wait a minute. A lesson in life. Before you volunteer for something, you should always know what you're volunteering for. I need some people that are gonna be big and brave, that aren't afraid of anything, even if it's kind of slithery, and will come up here and do exactly what I asked him to do. Let's see, who's it gonna be? All right, wait for it. How about you in the pink shirt? Yeah, come on up. Let's see, you in the pink jacket, come on up. Do you know what my favorite color is? No, it's green. Let's see. How about, yeah, Big Brother shirt, come on up. Let's see, I need a couple more. Sure, Jumping Girl. Yeah, blue sweatshirt. Black shirt, you can come on up too. I like your mohawk. All right. Does he want to come up? Does he want to?
No,
not today, all right. Baseball shirt, come on up. All right, line up, shoulder to shoulder, like you like each other. Squeeze in, nice and tight. There we go. You with the little shirt, come on over here. You switch, switch. Nice, these ones are well trained. All right, I need you guys to put your arms out, just like that. Awesome, they're gonna help us hold our next guest. Her name is Julia Squeezer, about 13 feet. Now, we lost one, nice. Now this is Julia Squeezer, and she is the Burmese python. Now when snakes that get this big, we hear all kinds of crazy stories about them. You know, I call them Tarzan stories.
A little girl.
You know, there's a guy walking through the jungle. The big snake smells him in the area. The guy starts to run. The snake starts chasing him down. It leaps out of the tree, wraps around the guy's neck, chokes him out, swallows him, and eats him. Well, is that really the way it works? No, this is a big snake, but she can only eat something about 5 times the size of her head. Yeah, he's sick. I don't know, I'm bad at math. But anyways, this snake here, the fastest that she can move on land is a whopping 1 whole mile an hour. So instead, she hunts by camouflage. She'll sit in the leaf litter, blending in perfectly with those beautiful scales of hers. And let's say a prey animal walks out in front. She'll strike out, boom! She grabs all with over 80, very, very sharp, backwards facing teeth. They kind of hook backwards like that. But she's not venomous. Do you know how you can tell she's not venomous? It's because I'm holding her. But she's a constrictor. She kills by squeezing things. And what's your name? Elias, do what section you're holding? That's the squeezing section of the snake. You guys want to see how it works?
Yes.
All right, here we go. Okay, She'll use that section to wrap around her prey. When when that prey is dead, then she'll start to swallow. And a big lump will sit in her stomach for about 4 or 5 days. Then 4 or 5 days later, it gets pushed down on my buddy on the end. What's your name on the end? What is it? Liam. Do you know what section you're holding? That's the dangerous end of the snake, because that's where she goes to the bathroom. I think you're safe, Liam, because this snake here, she only eats about once a month, only goes to the bathroom about once a month as well. But let's give a hand to our volunteers. You guys did an amazing job. Yes, back to your seats, everybody. Off my stage, it's my show. Now, oh, I love seeing her all stretched out like this. But this girl here, Julie, she actually came to our center because somebody bought her from a pet store when she was only about 1.5 feet long. And when they gave her all the right foods, they gave her a phenomenal enclosure, and do you know what she did? She grew. Then they kept feeding her all the right stuff, and she kept growing and growing and getting bigger and bigger. And eventually these people said, whoa, we need to find a new home for Julia Squeezer. And that's when she sent us to our center. And I would like to say that her story doesn't happen a lot, but we get a call for a big snake like this at least once a month at our center, that people decide they don't want to take care of anymore. So one of her biggest messages is to research your pets before you get them. Always make sure you're able to give an animal a proper home for its entire life. That way we don't end up with stories like Julia Squeezer. But I'll tell you what, right here in the United States, we are having a huge problem with these snakes. So many of these snakes have either escaped or been released into the southern swamps of the United States that they're now taking over the wilds of Florida and Louisiana. In fact, it's gotten so bad that the state of Florida even made a law where you're no longer allowed to own a Burmese python without a permit, which I think is Florida's only law. But no, these guys really are a problem animal here in the United States. But in their natural habitats, in the rainforests of Southeast Asia, they're an important form of pest control, a critical part of the balanced nature, and I think they are a stunningly beautiful creature. But that is Julia Squeezer. Let's say goodbye to the Burmese python here. All right, thank you guys. All right, off we go. Now, are you guys ready for our last animal? Why do I get the feeling that half of you guys are here just to meet this last guest? Her name, well, she is my new favorite animal to share with an audience, and she's my new favorite just because of the reaction I get from people whenever I bring her out. Her name is Tater Tot. The grasslands and rainforests of South America, a stunningly beautiful creature. This is Tater Tot. Check her out. This is Tater Tot. And what is she? A capybara. Now that's amazing to me. See, back when I was a kid, which was not that long ago, you don't have to laugh that hard at it. No. Back when I was a kid, nobody knew capybaras that well. They were more like a trivia animal. And maybe if you had studied a bit about wildlife, you might know the capybara. But ever since these guys have been discovered on social media for doing funny things, like sitting on the backs of crocodiles, or hanging out next to the jaguars when the jaguars devour their prey, or cute little photos of capybaras wearing an orange peel as a hat. These guys have now become one of the most famous and recognizable animals on this planet. But I'll tell you what, the capybara's lives are not nearly as glamorous as they're made out to be online. Kind of like the rest of us. But no, these guys, they survive in the South American wilds alongside top-tier predators like jaguars, crocodiles, caiman, and even anacondas. So when a baby capybara is first born, when they're only 1 day old, they have to be ready to survive. So on day 1, a capybara that's just been born can already walk and run. They can already swim. Do you know what you guys can do when you're 1 day old? Nothing. You can cry and hopefully poop. That's about it. These guys, they're running and swimming through the wilds of South America. At only 4 days old, they start to eat solid foods and will continue to nurse on mom for milk. So at 4 days old, they really start to grow. And they will grow and get bigger and bigger. And even Tater Tot here, who already weighs about 80 pounds, is going to keep on growing until she weighs closer to 100 pounds, making capybaras the largest what on this planet? Rodent! Say it again. Rodent! You hear that? You're a rodent. She is though. She's a member of the beaver, porcupine, mouse, and rat family. And like all rodents, she has ever-growing teeth. The forefront teeth in her mouth are constantly growing. So she needs to chew on hard woods or hard foods in order to keep those teeth at a healthy level. Now, Tater Tot, though, she actually came to our center in a really weird way. See, there's a place out in Arizona that bred animals for other zoos, but their owner unexpectedly passed away, and they had to shut down and find homes for all of their animals. So we got a call asking if we could give some animals a home. And we took in some amazing creatures, including a capybara that showed up at our center and gave birth 2 days later.
What?
Now here's the thing. Tater Tot's mom, she took care of all the other babies except for little Tater Tot. Yeah, she did not want to raise her. So do you know what I had to do? I had to become mom. Do I look like any of your moms? No. Well, whatever. I had to become mom. I took her into my home. I had to give her a bottle every 2 to 3 hours, day and night. She starts to become best friends with my little dachshund, my wiener dog. They're good buddies. But do you remember I said she likes to chew on hard objects? Yeah, well, Tater Tot here, she could care less if something's hard or not. Do you know what she cares about? Whether or not I love it. If it's my brand new video game controller, my favorite t-shirt, my coffee table. If I love it, she chews on it and she is rapidly ruining my life. She's actually since moved to a proper enclosure that is no longer inside my home. But even though I've been raising her since she was about 4 days old, did she really belong in my home? No. Once again, I'd so much rather see her in the wilds of South America, calling to other capybaras. That is where she truly belongs. And have you guys seen her flick her ears? She does it a lot. Do you know what that is? That's a happy behavior. That's like a dog wagging their tail. When she flicks her ears, she is saying she is one happy cappy. She does a chirping noise. It sounds like a chirp meets a laser beam. That's her excited social call. And if she's nervous or upset, she'll actually let out a bark. It's like a bark meets a grunt. That's how they say, hey, there's danger in our area. And even though she looks like a giant coconut, she can run 22 miles an hour. She can leap from the ground up on this table in a single bound. She's amazingly athletic compared to what her body looks like. It's the same thing I say about myself. But no, she is perfectly set up for life in the wilds of South America. But I'll tell you what, did you guys enjoy those animals? I hope you did, and I hope you guys learned something. But before I let you go, and I do have a surprise for you at the end of the show, but before I let you go, I don't feel like I'm doing my job unless I say this one thing. And that's, if there's anything that you guys care about, whether it's people, plants, animals, or the planet itself, just get out there and do something about it. If everyone plays their part just a little bit, we can make this world an even more amazing place to live. But I do want to thank you guys for being a very, very fun audience. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your day here at Seaworld San Diego, everybody. Thank you very much for having us. And wait, who wants to meet Tater Tot?
Yeah.
What we're going to do is, since I finished up the show, we're going to give you guys an opportunity to give a quick pet and a very quick photo. We got to keep this line moving because we have a whole lot of people here. But go line up right around the boxes here, and you can come by and get a chance to feel Tater Tot. No